just get happy.
are here again.
You better chase
Skies above
so your worries
are
away.
clear again.
Shout hallelujah
So let's sing
and
this
just
song
get happy.
of cheer again.
Get ready for the judgment.
I hear again.
The sun is shining,
All together,
so just get happy.
shouting now.
The Lord
No one
is waiting to take your hand.
doubt it now.
Shout hallelujah
So let's sing
and
this
just
song
get happy.
and tell the world about it now.
We're going to the
Happy days
promised land.
are here again.
Forget your troubles
Happy days,
and just get happy.
they're here again.
You better chase
Skies
some
above
worries away.
are clear again.
Shout hallelujah
So let's sing
and just get happy.
of cheer again.
Get ready for the
Happy
judgment.
days are here again.
The sun is shining,
All together,
so just get happy.
shouting loud. No one's waking, doubting now.
Shout hallelujah,
So let's tell the world
just get happy.
all about it now.
We're going
Happy days
the
are here again.
We're heading across the river. Soon our cares will all be gone.
There'll be no more for
Forget your troubles and just get happy. You better chase some worries away. Shout hallelujah and just get happy.
Living in a real rhapsody.
Well, how you doing, everybody? I'm Terrence Love, and this is Steamers Jazz at Campus JAX, and I've got my great buddy Tony Guerrero. How you doing, Tony?
I'm good, Terrence. How are you?
Oh, good. We have a special edition tonight. It's Thursday. It's not Sunday.
We do. I know. I thought the weeks were flying by a little faster than normal, but
I know. Tell us a little bit about what you think we got going.
I know what we've got going on tonight. So we're going to present. Tonight's all about Crystal Lewis, and
Yes.
we're going to talk with her about her life and career and all that stuff. But we're really going to be focusing on the making of her Rhapsody album last year, which was something that I got to work on with her. And we're going to watch some of the footage from her live show at Campus JAX, the album release night. And there's some really great footage from the studio recording, some behind the scenes stuff that we're going to be checking out, and like that, yeah.
And you can get that album at crystallewis.com, right?
I'm sure you can go there. You can get it on iTunes, Amazon, like all the normal places. Yeah.
Mhm.
The only place you
Yeah.
can't get it is in a record store these days.
So we do ask that the people, hang tight because it's a long show tonight. We got all sorts of clips. We're going to be interviewing Crystal in between. We're going to be doing our normal Tony Terry shtick and all that stuff. I want to remind you some of the things going on. First of all, upcoming this Sunday, we also have another great show coming up with Anthony Wilson and Carol Welsman. Who else do we have on the show?
I've invited my friend Ricky Riccardi from New York, and he's he heads up the Louis Armstrong Archives in Long Island and helps run the Louis Armstrong House Museum, which is, if you're in New York or if you get to New York, I can't tell you what an amazing experience it is to tour Armstrong's house, even if you're not much of a fan or don't know much about him. It's the most compelling museum visit. It's really incredible. And I've sent a lot of friends there who I had to force and talk into going, trust me, you'll love it. And they just come back raving. It's a really great experience. So.
Well, I want to tell you before we go into the first little bit here, we want to thank all of our audience that's been coming along and helping us support that. There's a way you can help us even more. You can go to steamersjax.com and there's a little donate button there that you can help us with. And we really, really appreciate it. And of course, the great musicians that have come and spent their time for free and let us know a little bit, and not only about what's going on in their lives, we get to see an intimate side that we normally don't at a club or whatever, what's going on at their home. I didn't know Tony was a guitar player.
Well, I'm a guitar owner. You have yet to see me play guitar.
And obviously you can tell that I am love always,
I'm glad that you have a sign up to remind yourself every day.
It's not for me, it's to remind you guys, okay? So let's go. Are we going to go into our first thing? What is with Hey Break or
Hey Heartbreak? Yeah,
Hey Heartbreak.
This is the opening song on Crystal's album, and it's a big fun one. Huge big band. We recorded it at Capitol Records. I'm not sure which of the making of we're watching tonight, but maybe that one. Heartbreak. Okay, so we're going to watch that one. Then we'll see the behind the scenes on this one. So here we go. Take it away, Tim.
There you go.
Hey, heartbreak is here again.
Hey Heartbreak is a song envisioning heartbreak as a human, and a very inconsiderate human at that. Someone who kind of barges in and makes themselves right at home in spite of the fact that you're saying, excuse me, no, I don't want you here, I don't need this in my life. Because my experience has been that heartbreak can be fairly debilitating, and that it can kind of take you out and make you feel things that you don't want to really feel. And yet there's so much to learn from each of these experiences. They're so valuable and honestly helpful, and I hate saying that because the last thing I want to do is acknowledge heartbreak as a helper because I don't want it around, you know. I don't want to be sad, you know, feeling all of the things that true heartbreak makes you feel. And so I had this vision of heartbreak bursting into my place and just kind of shoving my things aside and kicking his feet up on the coffee table and all of that, and it became this song about heartbreak. It was inspired musically by the fact that I had this new discovery this past year, and that is that Aretha Franklin did all these big band records. And I just had really listened to all of her soul songs from the 60s, I guess, and early 70s. And I just sort of missed this fact that she had done these huge big band records, and I found a few of them. One in particular called 1969, which is a live, semi-live big band record that she did. And I was born in 1969, so it immediately resonated with me. And there are a couple songs on there that are the epitome, the beautiful, perfect mix of swing and soul, which is what I was gunning for with this record. So Heartbreak kind of became an homage to that in some ways. And I now love the Heartbreak song. Even though I don't love Heartbreak, I love the Heartbreak song.
Oh, yes, I'll admit he left the occasional gift, lessons on his way out the door. And yes, I can say at the end of the day, they helped me get up on my kitchen floor. Now, heartbreak. Hey, heartbreak is here again. He went ahead and let himself find it. Even though I said no, we're not now, nor have we ever been friends. Say, heartbreak is here again. He came in and made himself right at home. Proceeded to talk on the phone, put his feet up on my table, turned on my TV, and then went in the kitchen, put on some coffee, didn't pour any for me. Puts me in such a state I can't see straight. What with the fear and the doubt and the fog and the clouds, my mind is a mess from the weight of the stress. I can't wait for Mr. Heartbreak to pack up his things and be on his way. Hey, hey, Heartbreak is here once again. Let himself right on in. Even though I said no, 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 we're not now, nor have we ever been friends. Say heartbreak is here again. See, I can handle whatever you got. Let me have it. Take your best shot. I'm the girl that gets up after being knocked down. Remember that on your way out of town. Yeah, heartbreak, bye-bye. So long for now. Left the occasional gift, lessons on his way out the door. Yes, I can say at the end of the day, help me get back up my kitchen floor. Now, heartbreak is gone. Oh, but he'll be back again. It's inevitable, though I could not tell you where. Armed with all those little lessons I've learned. Heartbreak is gone, but he'll be back. Maybe I seen one too many movies. Maybe my dreams too pie in the sky. Maybe I ignored the obvious signs, but you can't blame a girl for trying.
Crystal Lewis is a Grammy-nominated and Dove Award-winning singer whose career has spanned more than 35 years. At age 15, she appeared in the stage musical High Tops and recorded the soundtrack album, then went on to be one of the stars of the Nickelodeon Channel's musical sketch comedy television show, Roundhouse. Her own band at the time, Wild Blue Yonder, helped her earn the attention of the musical community, and at age 17 she was signed to Frontline Records for her first solo album. Her solo career garnered her multiple hit records and #1 songs in the Christian pop and R&B markets, leading to world tours and multiple stadium appearances. Her singing has inspired a whole generation of singers, and multi-platinum artists like Katy Perry and Tori Kelly, among others, have cited Crystal as their main singing influence. 2019 saw Crystal Lewis's first foray into the original jazz market with the release of her album Rhapsody. Please welcome Crystal Lewis to Steamers Jazz at JAX.
I was yours, you were mine for a minute. Living in a real-life rhapsody.
Man, that's good stuff, huh?
Yep. Welcome, Crystal.
Hey, Crystal.
Hi.
We have Crystal Lewis with us from inside her piano.
Yes.
That's great.
She's sheltered.
Wow, that looked like a lot of fun over there at Capitol Records, huh?
Oh my goodness, it was such a dream. It was such a dream. It went by too fast.
Yeah.
It did, yeah. We'll get into the whole making of the album, but that's one of the worst part about it is it was almost a year. 8 months or so of planning, and then all of it basically happened in 1 day or 2 days, and it was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
Crazy.
So.
I've never been, this probably comes as such a surprise to people, but I've been recording since I was 15, which is just a long time ago. And I very few times over the course of my career have I loved a recording process. And there's been some I've liked and maybe one or two that I loved, but this was just beyond anything that I had ever experienced in my entire 30 plus year career. And I stood around on both the days that we recorded, the one day at Capitol. I remember just standing and breathing it all in before anybody even got there, and just trying to solidify things in my mind so I could remember things. And it was such a dream. It's really fun to watch these behind the scenes because all those memories are surfacing. So
Right.
great. Yeah.
Well, we're going to watch a lot of the behind the scenes tonight. So why don't you just give a shout out to Jeremy who put those together and just make sure.
Jeremy
and talk about, because he's kind of responsible for the origin of this album anyways.
Yeah, so this record, these pictures, they were taken by my friend Jeremy. He's a photographer in Nashville and a video director and creative director and all of that, and we've become very good friends. I've told this story so many times, and it's probably in one of the videos that'll happen later, but when he took these pictures, I immediately texted Tony and said, I want to make a record that sounds the way these pictures look. And that was sort of like the catapult for us, the catalyst to,
Right.
But some of the songs had already been started and were in varying states of, progress or whatever. But when it came time to actually record everything, Jeremy came out and he set up GoPros, and he brought my brother-in-law Mike came, and they just captured everything.
And then a few weeks later, he sent me all these clips that are exactly what, not only what happened on those days, of course, but what's on the record as well. So just such a dream.
Yeah, one thing to know about, often when you see videos like that, a lot of it is, it might take several days sometimes to record one song, but even over the course of multiple takes, if there's a camera crew there, by the time the song is finished and they're going through hours of footage trying to put it together, a lot of times those behind the scenes things are sort of pieced together from different takes, and you're watching lip syncing, and it's kind of faked.
Right.
On these, you're really seeing exactly what's being recorded at the moment it's being recorded and what ended up on the album. It's very cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very grateful for them, for sure.
So I think we're going to just, we have a lot of music to get through. So we're going to jump into the next tune. And the next one is Paradox, which was a whole different session from Capitol.
Right. Yeah. So we did 2 sessions, one at Capitol and one at a place called, interestingly enough, The Hideaway.
Oh, that's right.
And 2 different bands, 2 different vibes, kind of. We had soul on the first day, and then the Capitol session was more swing. And just the most mind-bogglingly, can I say that?
You can.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
Now I can't even remember how to say it. Mind-bogglingly. Iconic, incredible musicians that came and joined us, and you'll see in the video.
We're live. We can't edit that out. So.
I'm as right as I am wrong.
Paradox is a song that is probably the most autobiographical song I have ever written.
I'm as juicy as I am lean.
It initially started as just a poem that I wrote, just something in my journal that I was feeling, and I just wrote it down, and it was very, very honest. It's scary to be vulnerable. It really is. As writers, that's what we do often, is, at least for me, that's kind of always been my MO, was to take what was in my daily journal and kind of rework it and give it away, because I have found that in doing so, it's where you find this common ground with other people and you realize that you're not alone.
I'm as timid as I am bold. I've got as much.
So Paradox is about the seeming contradictions. So a paradox is kind of, it's this, but it's this, and it doesn't quite make sense. It doesn't seem to really go together, but it totally does.
As often as I doubt I can be alone, I play well with others, a bit like my dad.
So I began to see these things in myself, that I felt lost sometimes, but I also felt found. And I would find myself really doubting beliefs I'd held all my life, but then at the same time I found myself truly in a state of believing. And I began to see that was just entirely true from top to bottom of my soul. I'm quiet, I'm loud, I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert. There's a little bit of everything. I'm a little bit of everything. And though that seems like a contradiction, and though that's sometimes really hard to understand, it is that both and that completely makes me who I am. So, I hope other people can relate to that, because that is just the plain truth.
mystery. I'm well aware I'm a little bit of everything. Little bit of everything. See, it's taken a while, but I can honestly say I embrace my contradictions. The wisdom and grace to love yourself comes with aging. Baby, I got that in spades. I'm as young as I am old. I'm as timid as I am bold. I've got as much say as I've got go. I can say yes, I can say no. The paradox is not lost on me. I'm well aware I'm a little bit of everything. I like to stay in, I like to go out. I believe as often as I doubt. I do well alone, I play well with others. A bit like my dad, a lot like my mother. I know it seems contradictory. I don't understand, it's such a mystery. And the paradox is not lost on me. I'm well aware I'm a little bit of everything. Little bit of everything. Oh, I am. I am. I am. I am. Little bit of everything. Hey. Hey! Living in a real rhapsody.
We're live.
Wow. That was fantastic. Wow.
Hey, we should mention who's in the live band that we're watching. Now, that's from your October album release show at Campus JAX.
Yes.
And
So it's Brandon Shaw on the bass, who I've played a ton with over the last few years, and Brian Taylor on the drums,
right.
who Brian and Brandon I've done a ton of my Christmas jazz stuff with for like the last 5 years. So
Right.
Mike Scott is playing the guitar. Matt Politano is playing the piano.
Okay.
You're playing the trumpet.
I am.
And Kirsten Edkins is playing the saxophone. And I just, we haven't gotten to this song yet, but there's a song later on called It's Hard to Say Goodbye. And on the record, on the day that we recorded Capitol, Kirsten was there. And you had already kind of pre-selected her to do the solo on that song.
Right.
Keep in mind, there's one saxophone solo on the entire record by design. My design. And you were like, no, you're going to love this girl. And I've hired her for multiple shows last year because I love her so much. And the thing that you just did that everybody should go watch, the big, like,
The big band thing. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you call it?
Quarantine big band. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Maybe
God.
we'll show it later.
So cool. And Kirsten kills on that song too, by the way. So that's the band.
Interesting story about Kirsten is that she played at Steamers when she was 16 years old with the El Dorado Big Band.
Oh, really?
No way!
Eldorado High School.
Oh yeah, I used to do high school
Yeah.
jazz bands on Saturdays, and that's where I first met her when she was with that El Dorado High School. But at Campus JAX, I do want to mention before we go into the other thing, we are open for curbside service from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. every day but Sunday. So, if you want to come get some of that great Jack shrimp or that whatever the stuff they're selling right now, it's all good. Every time I ate there, which I tried to eat as much as I could, it was fantastic, and want to keep Jack alive. So check it out there.
Yes, so grateful for Jack and Jax.
Yes.
Giving us a place to play and eat.
All right, so
Yeah.
listen, my favorite tune is number 4 on the album. So let's get through with number 3 here.
Okay, gotcha.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hey.
So number 3 is this next tune is the first one for this album that you and I worked on together, right? Let Me Love You.
Let me love you.
Isn't that the first one?
I think maybe you should call me was first.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, but this one was very specifically this genre and looking towards this style of music, right?
Yes, definitely. And I was very I had a little bit of trepidation. I'm going to keep using these words that I'm not sure are correct.
Okay.
Coming to the studio and saying, "Here's my idea," because this is like so much more your wheelhouse than mine in the past, and it was just so much fun to kind of, pull it apart and put it together.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's fun. So this is Let Me Love You, and we'll watch the behind the scenes, and then we'll watch the live performance from Seamers.
Awesome.
Campus JAX.
Don't you miss my kisses? Don't you want my hugs? Late at night when you can't sleep, don't you need my...
Let Me Love You was initially inspired by something that I said to my cat Norman out loud one day when, as I lovingly petted the top of his head and tried to pet his back, he reached out and swatted at me and caught my skin, and I was bleeding, and it was just a mess. Sadly, this is a pretty regular occurrence.
Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me.
I said out loud to him, "Oh, why won't you just let me love you?" And I couldn't get that phrase out of my head. And as I went on one of my walks, probably later that day, the idea of that becoming a song kind of came to mind, and I started kind of fleshing that out. And it was one of the fastest songs I think that I wrote for the record, because it just was so fun and felt so easy. And the idea of chasing someone, and saying, "Hey, I know that you need this." I love the way that it turned out so much. It's one of it was an early song that was written, and so I feel like it's just kind of part of the fabric of the record from the get-go, and yeah, I love it.
Don't you miss my kisses? Don't you want my hugs? Late at night when you can't sleep, don't you need my love? You keep me at a distance, hold me at arm's length. I just wanna make you happy and be what you need. Let me love you. You know you want to. Stop your stalling, I'll keep going every day until you see. Let me love you. You know I want to. Times are wasting, I'm just saying, you and I were meant to be. I'm holding on for dear life, you'll keep letting go. I try for you when you push me out when I get close. Seems as though I'm chasing you, trying to catch up. So don't let me hold your hand, what are you afraid of? Let me love you. You know I want to stop your stalling. I'll keep calling every day until you sing. Let me love you. You know I want to. Time's not wasting. I'm just saying you and I were meant to be. Oh, tell me what you're thinking. Tell me I'm wrong. Oh, but I know that I'm still your favorite song. Let me love you. You know you want to stop your stalling. I'll keep calling every day until you see. Oh, let me love you. You know I want to. Time's are wasting. I'm just saying you and I were meant to be. You and I were meant to be. And living in a real rhapsody.
We're
Good
back.
stuff, huh? Good
Yeah.
stuff.
So fun.
Yeah.
I was going to. Why don't we talk a little bit about Tony Nunez, because we just saw you dancing in that clip, and for the people who saw the big band video that we posted, you saw Tony dancing there, and he's going to be on our Steamers Jazz at JAX this Sunday night. He's going to teach the dance he did in that video. But why don't you tell everybody who Tony is?
Gosh, I love it. So I met Tony through a mutual friend, and I was looking for someone to do this with me. And my friend introduced me to Tony, and he didn't know who I was at all. And
Right.
we got into the studio, and can you hear me? We got into the studio, and we were working on choreography and whatever. And I said something about dancing, and he was like, wait, where did you? I said something about some friends who were dancers. And I said something about a show. And he goes, a show? What show? And I said, oh, it was the Nickelodeon show in the 90s. It's called Roundhouse. And the man let out the biggest scream. And we just ended up having this beautiful point of connection because of Roundhouse. And he said, I don't remember how old he was then, but like 8, 9, 10-year-old kid, that show, watching that show with all the dancing on it, kind of changed the trajectory of his life and held a very special place in his heart. So we became instantly bonded over that, and going to dance and having him do all this with me was kind of like therapy in a lot of ways. So different from what I'm used to doing, and it was just such a fun addition.
Yeah. I love that you are exploring new things in your life, which I know you're doing a lot of these days with an album like this and dancing and yeah, a lot of stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, well, thank you. I have a lot. I am very grateful for the people around me that do the kinds of things that I'm attempting way better than me. Because,
You're talking about me dancing, right?
well, you and the melodica. But yeah, it's a co-writer like you and a producer like you that can kind of come alongside and not just be a yes man, but someone who can say, yes, that's great, or let's work on that a little bit.
Right.
And
I've never seen that yes man side of Tony yet. So
Well, you haven't done anything worth agreeing to yet.
I'm trying to figure that one out. It must be me. Hey, well, I do have to say, though, would be remiss if I didn't talk about that. if you want to help us continue this thing, we've been so grateful. What is this, our 7th edition of doing this?
I think
That,
so.
somehow we got to
8th.
make 8th. We got to make it work, so we can keep it going. Behind the scenes, we have Janvier Vargas and John Wynn, and they're doing a lot of this editing and photography and putting this stuff together. And Tim Ellis, who you can't see, but we heard what was going on earlier there at his house. But, there's a place you can go, steamersjax.com, and there's a little button there you can click and donate $1, $2, $10, whatever you can, just to help us out. We're going to continue doing this, and it's just building and building and building. We've got a lot of great stuff.
We're going to jump into now the title track, which is my personal favorite on the album because it's a bossa nova and it's beautiful, and I love the melody. I love the lyrics. You came in with the lyric pretty completed. No, actually, this is the story on this lyric. So you came in with an idea for a lyric, and I remember it was sort of these are my words, I guess, but sort of a jumbled mess of an idea. And I was thinking, I'm not sure about this, but I'm going to, we worked out a little melody, and you came back with a finished lyric that I just think is so gorgeous. And
Thank you.
like lyrics really matter to me. I mean, they matter to everybody, but I'm very picky about lyrics, and this is just a really great lyric. And I would encourage people to listen to the lyric when she's performing just to get the picture in your mind. But it's a beautiful bossa nova. And this is the one song on the album that we were able to add live strings to, which is just so gorgeous. So I just love that. And
Okay, and also the string part, the introduction part, was not
oh
the
yeah,
way
that's
that
right.
we had envisioned it originally. And you took a piece of the strings from the center of the song,
Right. And just put
and
it
put
up
it at the
front.
beginning,
Yeah.
and which is so great.
Which I don't know we're going to hear much of that now because it's not in the live performance.
Oh, true. Yeah.
But I do take a flugelhorn solo, and that's there. So
That's which
yeah.
I love. Which
Yeah.
I love.
All right. So here's the title tune, Rhapsody.
Rhapsody, the title track of the album, is really just, I think it's a sweet song about being in sync with someone. It's about the romantic notion of creating music together, dancing together. I love the line in the second verse. It says, let's go dancing, you and I. Learn the steps, feel the time. Let rhythm move and guide us across the floor. And I just love the idea of that.
I will follow as you lead. I will
The song started with just a bunch of random ideas. I had a title, but no hook yet. I just wanted a song called Rhapsody. And actually, in my journal, I think I started these lyrics in Paris. There's just a bunch of watercolor dripping down the page. And I'm going to keep it forever, I think, because it really is part of what really inspired the rest of the song. But I took it to Tony and said, here are some random ideas. And here's what I want it to sound like. I want a bossa nova kind of, Latin feel that you could dance to.
of two hearts that found their bliss, living in.
So he just wrote this gorgeous melody that helped me kind of be able to flesh out the lyrics and all of that, and I just couldn't be more pleased. I think it's a perfect, all-encompassing way to just kind of get the point of Rhapsody across. It's what the whole album is all about.
Let's make music harmonize, sing in unison, drive the words together to a tune tonight. Note for note, we'll co-create a simple melody to say, love has come for us, it's here to stay. Bring me close and whisper, dear, sing a song I love to hear you. Serenade me, unafraid, we'll let our duet tell the story of a love that's heaven sent, of two hearts that found their bliss, living in a real life rhapsody. Let's go dancing, you and I, in the steps, feel the time, let rhythm move and guide us across the floor. I will follow as you lead, I will trust your hands, your feet, to twirl me round the room and make me soar. It's as though our hearts have wings, we can dance on air, it seems, romance in motion on the grandest scale. Our every movement tells the tale of a love that's heaven sent, of two hearts that found their bliss, living in a real life rhapsody. Living in a real life rhapsody. Living in a real life rhapsody.
Beautiful.
There we go.
Beautiful. Boy, that
I love that tune.
It's pretty.
and great flugelhorn.
Yeah,
solo.
man.
Thank you.
Oh man.
I mean, the dancers are kind of hogging my spotlight, but
Well, you know what can I say? Arturo Sandoval, I don't know.
he is. He's watching right now. How nervous does that make me feel?
I know, that's what I say. He's complimenting you. It's got to be great.
Hey, so you know what I thought we should do now, because a lot of the audience for JAX, Crystal, may not know much of your past life, and we should talk about that, because I'll just do it in a nutshell without referring to your Wikipedia page. But for those of you who don't know, Crystal had a long career as basically a gospel artist with a bunch of albums out, huge tours and stadiums and #1 hits and Grammy nominations and Dove Award winning stuff, and that's where I knew you from back when we first met in like 1990 or sometime around there, 91, 92. And I mean, you were huge at that time, and so that's why you wouldn't talk to me. I totally get it, but um,
I've got some reasons too, but
yeah. But all these years, all those years, I just totally was very aware of who you were, and the fact that you were an influence on a ton of great singers out there. Like I rarely run into a studio singer that doesn't cite you as one of their influences, especially if they grew up singing in the church. And then people like Tori Kelly and Katy Perry talk about you as being their favorite. Like, you had a pretty great career there for a long time. Then you threw it all away on jazz. What was you thinking?
Leveled up.
I love this. I love that you have all of that. It would be so easy for you to just keep doing that, and that you wanted to explore something new like this. And it's just so great. And it's such a beautiful project, and I'm so glad you're down this path. So.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it so much, and I sure do believe I wouldn't be where I was without all of that. From experience to, just experience, I guess.
Sure.
Learning, trial and error, and having some great successes, but also some slip ups and what I would consider to be failures here and there.
Right.
And you learn from that and pick up and keep going. Yeah.
Sounds like you're going up right now, actually, based on what I'm seeing here.
Well, thank you. I mean, I do think that that the whole quarantine situation has served as something of a momentum, like halter.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Maybe it's just like, okay, let's regroup, and just press pause.
I'm hoping when this ends, it's kind of like our deferred mortgages. Like, it just picks up as if nothing ever happened. That's what I'm hoping.
I'm with you. I'm hoping that.
Yeah.
As well.
So, all right. This next tune is the first one we wrote together, actually, and this is a song that is more on the I guess soul side of the album. And let's talk about these musicians, because the first guy you said you wanted to have on the album was this drummer who, if you're a drummer or if you're a musician, you pretty much are aware that Vinnie Colaiuta is probably one of the world's greatest living drummers, if not the greatest living drummer. And what a thrill to have him there. And he was so into being there. Like, he had so much fun there. You could tell he was there for you. And it was such a blast to have him.
Well, fun fact, or two fun facts. Number one, I told you earlier about the night that we did this photo shoot, and I immediately texted you and asked about the record. The second person I texted was Vinny, and I just said hi. I hadn't talked to him in like months. We probably connect, once a year or something on social media. But I was able to do that because he actually played on my album Fearless in 2000. So we had kind of developed a rapport and a little friendship over the years, whatever. And so it was such a dream come true to get to work together in this kind of environment under these circumstances. It was amazing.
The other guys in the band, my good friend Alex Al, who is I think one of the greatest bass players around, and most people might know him from the movie This Is It, because he was ready to tour with Michael Jackson when Michael died. He was in Michael's band at that time. But he's played with he played with everybody, Diana Ross, and just a huge assortment of people over the years. And he's just the baddest bass player. And I got to, he played on my 1996 album, Mystery. And that whole album, when I listen to it, he's all I hear on it. It's just, he's so great. And then Adam Hawley played guitar, who's a guy I've really only known a couple years. And he's great. I mean, this is such a great band on these tunes, the soul side of the album.
Yeah.
And then Clifton Williams, I like this story because I had never heard of or met Clifton Williams, and then you called and said, I just heard a guy.
Yeah, I was at a show in LA and he was the keyboard player, and I literally waited by the backstage door afterward, and he came out and I was like, I'm one of those people. I'm not a stalker. But do you do session work? And we exchanged numbers, and so yeah, I love that I had a couple ideas of people and you had a couple ideas of people and we just kind of merged
Right,
them
right.
together. But you had not heard Clifton, and we walked into the studio that day, and it wasn't this song, it was a song later, but you said when he
Well,
played the opening line.
I was nervous because when you're producing an album, you need to kind of know everything that's going to happen ahead of time. And so to know that these songs were going to be the keyboard was going to be so integral to it. And I have no idea what this guy sounds like, plays like, looks like, acts like, nothing about him. Like this could all go really south. Like he might be great, but totally the wrong guy for this. And from the first tune we pulled out, you'll hear later, but it starts with a keyboard intro, and like literally 2 beats into it, I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's it. So
It was
yeah,
a remarkable, kind of weird environment where it was so cohesive, and
yeah.
these guys
All the guys fell in.
they hadn't heard the demos. We didn't even play them all the demos in their entirety that day. You just gave them charts and we're like, it kind of sounds like this.
Yeah, and really what you hear on the record is either first or second takes of of the band playing together, not part by part, just the band playing. Let's count it off and do it, and that's it. So let's just jump into this tune, which is Maybe You Should Call Me, which is a sassy little tune. So here's the making of, and then the live performance.
Baby, you got my number. Call it all the
Maybe You Should Call Me was the first song that Tony and I collaborated on, and it was actually a number of years ago, like maybe 3 years ago. And it was just an idea I had. Honestly, this is gonna sound so crazy, but the opening phrase, it says, "Baby, you got my number." And I wanted to kind of play on that phrase because, of course, if you hear the rest of the song, it's talking about an actual phone number, with digits and whatnot, and how, we communicate with one another.
I've tried, so just leave me alone. Baby, put down that phone. Don't want you.
Really, it began with the phrase, he's got my number. You know what I mean? Like, he can see right through me today. You kind of know what's going on inside my head right now. And that honestly stemmed from an interaction I had with my horse 10 years ago. But she was being such a brat that day, and I just had this moment of distrust with her, and I knew she knew that I was really struggling, and I literally said out loud to my trainer at the time, she's got my number today. Like, she knows exactly what's going on in my head, and she's manipulating me, and we are not able to communicate today because she has the upper hand.
Baby, you got my number. You play me like a fool.
And so I took that concept and kind of merged it with the actual phone number concept and created this song of basic indecision, because it's about someone who says one thing and is trying to kind of let go of a relationship, but in the end she can't quite let it go and isn't quite ready to. And throughout the whole chorus of the song, it's saying, okay, I'm done, I'm ready to move on, and then the final phrase is, okay, maybe you should call me tonight. And I don't know, I think that's a pretty normal reaction to a romantic relationship where you just kind of can't quite make up your mind.
Wait a minute. Maybe you should call me tonight. number, calling all the time. You know just how to use it to get me on the line. You know how to dial my digits like 1, 2, 3, 4, and somehow I always answer. I keep coming back for more. Try as I might, I can't quit you. I've tried, so just leave me alone. Baby, put down that phone. I don't want your message at the end of the tunnel. Don't wanna see your name lighting up my screen again. Oh, you better stop calling and leading me on. You had your moment, that moment is gone. There's nothing left to say, and I got better things to do with my time. Wait a minute, maybe you should call me tonight. Maybe you should call me. Baby, you got my number. I forgot. You know how to push my buttons, make me lose my cool. I don't know how you do it to me. Stop reading my mind. Maybe our next conversation, yes, I should tell you goodbye. Try as I might, I can't quit you. Oh, I've tried. Just leave me alone, baby. Put down that phone. Don't want your message at the end of the tunnel. Don't wanna see your name lighting up on my screen again. Oh, you better stop calling and
Kirsten Edkins on saxophone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kirsten's great. Yeah, that was beautiful. Hey, you know, I was looking at the feed while we were watching that, and there's a lot of people out there. Kristen Rabe and Remington Villa, and these
Remy.
people, Jorge Silva or Rod Esteban, and you know, if any of you guys that are out there in the comments, if you have something to say or want to hear something from Crystal, you know, go ahead, and let us. We're kind of watching, and maybe
Oh,
she.
right
Oh,
now,
the
now you mean questions, not requests. We're not
question.
taking requests.
Not.
Too late for
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Someone said, "Get Tony out of there." Oh no,
Oh
no,
no. Yeah.
no. Just a simple. They have a question, a request for a question for her.
Yeah. So this next tune, I am very happy that I got to introduce Crystal to this next artist who wrote the song. By the way, two things. This album is all originals except for one song that is an original of somebody else. So it's, you know, kind of still an original. It's an original of a friend of ours. But the other thing I wanted to point out, because I mentioned how the album is pretty much live takes from everybody in the band, but also from the singer, Crystal Lewis. So this album is Crystal singing live in the studio. Usually you have the singer sing in the studio with the band with the idea that you're going to go back later and replace those vocals and fix them up. And we didn't do that. I think maybe we fixed it like where you forgot a word or something like that. But
Yeah.
what you're hearing on the album is you singing even with the big band. Like that's you singing live.
Yes. And what's so funny about that is I remember not being so stressed or nervous about either of the recording days because I just assumed, well, yeah, I'm going to sing along for the experience, and so the band can,
Right.
have a reference or whatever. But I'm obviously going to go back and re-sing everything.
And we actually did that in the sense that we got together in my studio and we thought, all right, let's start replacing these vocals. And the first one we did was Hey Heartbreak. And we're like, we can't match that. It's like,
Yes.
it just wasn't there. Like the energy of you with the band was so great.
Yes.
So we just stopped. Yeah.
And I love that, especially the Soul Day with Vinny and Alex and Adam and Cliff. It was like the energy that they brought to that space, like woo, just lit me up, and it was a remarkable experience for sure.
Well, I was asked by my good friend Robert Kyle to play on an album for a singer named Betty Bryant, who is just the greatest. She's 90 years old now, I think, and she's from she sings, she plays piano. She's from that Kansas City school. Like she swings so hard on piano. She's just the greatest, and she writes the greatest songs.
She does.
And when we were working on this, I had just finished doing arrangements for her album. And I played you this song just to pass the time, just to show you what I was working on, and you fell in love with it. So we decided to record this.
Totally. I thought it was an old standard that had just somehow I had missed along the way, and you were like, "No, she wrote this," and it's been such an insane, beautiful experience to get to know her a little bit over the last couple years and hear her live. And actually, she was at my show. What was that, in January?
Right. At Spike
And
she got up. That's right. We got her up. We got her up to sing. Yeah, that was so great.
Oh,
if anybody watching this, if you get a chance to see Betty Bryant, when all this is over, go see Betty Bryant.
Well, I have been reading these things, and there are a few questions here.
Right. So what do they say?
And one says, let's see, Remington Villa. Crystal, what is your favorite song from this album? And then Kristen Rabe said, I was going to ask that.
Hi, Remington. I just went to Disneyland with Remington and like half of his family, not just, but like, when was that? 6 months ago or something? I love Remington. My favorite song on this record, I honestly don't have a singular favorite. They've each been my favorite at different times, truly. And I've never made a record like that. There are all, for me, my own personal taste. There's always been fillers on all my records, and this
now that we know that, can people get their money back?
Heck no.
and then Carla Martin White says, "What would be your dream duet
Ooh,
Ew. My dream.
with Tony here?" So
yeah,
you
yeah,
gotta.
right.
I've tried to get Tony to sing Frim Fram Sauce with me. It's
Nope,
Louis Armstrong sings it. You're good
not
for
going to
that.
happen.
You know what? I'd have to think about that because I honestly have sung with. Look, I'm not trying to be all like feather in the cap, whatever, but I sang a duet with Donna Summer. So like,
You
I don't
sung, you
know.
sung with Donna Summer and Kirk Franklin and Bono, and I mean,
Yeah.
you've made the rounds. So
And
yeah,
most recently with my good friends Leah Booth and Charles Jones, who
right.
I don't know if I don't know. I'm good.
All right. Well, there's one more question, and then I've been told that we need to talk a little bit about where people can help donate to help us keeping this going on. I know Tony and you have the great stories. It's so fascinating for me to sit here and
Interrupt
hear
us.
you guys. I know it's great. Go to campus or what is it, steamersjax.com, and if you could donate, we'd really appreciate it. And the last question was, will you do Rhapsody 2?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm sure there will be a sequel of some kind. I don't know that it will be Rhapsody 2. I think there's only one of Rhapsody.
All right, this next tune is Betty Bryant's tune. It's Hard to Say Goodbye. This is another one where you're going to be with the big band in Capitol Records, and this was a really fun arrangement for me to do, and I was thrilled with how it turned out. So much so that when we do the live show, we decided to play with tracks, which is kind of taboo in the jazz world, but I just didn't want to do the show without having all those horns there. So when you watch the live part, those horns are pre-recorded and we're playing along with them. But here is It's Hard to Say Goodbye.
You're the most, you're cinnamon toast.
Hard to Say Goodbye is one of the two big band songs on the record. And this song is so special to me. It's the one song on the entire project that neither Tony nor I wrote. It was written by a beautiful woman by the name of Betty Bryant. Incidentally, I just attended her 90th birthday party a few months ago. She's an incredible pianist. I should mention that her 90th birthday party was basically a show. That's how I met Betty, was Tony produced her last project and plays in her band on occasion. And so I've had the privilege of meeting her and getting to pick her brain about music and songs and history and all of this. And this song, Hard to Say Goodbye, was the first song that Tony played for me of Betty's. And when he first played it, I said, "Oh, this is such a cool old Gershwin tune." Or is it Cole Porter? How did I miss this? I feel like I kind of know these old songs. And he said, no, Betty wrote this.
Goodbye, goodbye, and it's hard to say goodbye. Oh, you're
So she wrote it, I don't even know, 10 or 15 years ago, in her 80s. I immediately knew the moment I heard it, if I ever do a jazz record, I will really work toward doing this song. And so it was one of the first songs on the list, for sure. And I spoke with her on the phone before we recorded it and just sort of kind of asked permission / told her that's what we were doing.
Your truffles and pheasant, and though it's so pleasant to bask in the warmth of your smile, your village way, your own design, and that is why it's hard to say. That is why it's hard to say farewell, toodaloo, adios, adieu to you, sayonara, auf Wiedersehen.
Conversations with Betty make me want to be a better woman. They make me want to be a better friend. They make me want to be a better singer. She is a true light, and I'm really, really grateful and thrilled to have the chance to record one of her songs on this record.
You're the most, yeah, cinnamon toast. And it's hard to say goodbye. You're ooh, ah, you're baklava. And it's hard to say goodbye. You're so ice cream and midnight. I like your style. Your truffles and pheasant, and though it's so pleasant to bask in the warmth of your smile. Your vintage wine, your old lang syne, and that is why it's hard to say goodbye. Oh baby, you're the most, you're cinnamon toast, and it's hard to say goodbye. You're ooh, ah, you're baklava, and it's hard to say goodbye. You're so ice cream and midnight. I like your style. The truffles and pheasant, and oh, it's so pleasant to bask in the warmth of your smile. Your vintage wine, your old lang syne, and that is why it's hard to say bye. You're so ice cream at midnight. I like your style. Your truffles and pheasant, and oh, it's so pleasant to bask in the warmth of your smile. Your vintage wine, your old lang syne, and that is why it's hard to say. That is why it's hard to say farewell to the world. Adios. Adieu to you. Sayonara. Adieu. Ciao, baby. Au revoir. It's so hard to say goodbye. Hey, it's hard to say goodbye. Bye. Living in a real rhapsody.
Are we live?
We are.
Betty Bryant.
What an angel.
I don't know if she's watching, but I'll make sure she sees all that. So
Good.
Someone talked about her naughty lyrics, you know.
yeah, she's got some. One of my favorite songs of hers is called. I think it's just called Tina Turner or something. But
Oh, yeah.
the lyric is, "I can't dance like Tina Turner in them high heeled shoes" or something like that. I don't know. I'm butchering her lyrics, but she's
I
she's
think
so
it's
great.
I think you're close. I think it's just walk. I can't walk.
Oh, I can't walk like
in my
Tina
high
Turner.
shoes.
Yeah.
And then she's got a song called Catfish.
Oh yeah, Catfish is great.
Yeah.
So Terrence, you got any announcements?
Yeah, I do. First of all, Campus JAX is doing the curbside meals there. You can come pick it up. Great food. We got to somehow keep it alive. 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Every day but Sunday. So you can go to campusjax.com or to Facebook, Campus JAX or JAX Hideaway. We'll get you the menu there. and come support us. Also, back to the steamersjax.com for if you want to help donate here a little bit. And Tony,
Yes, sir.
I want to hear some more of these stories with you and Crystal.
All right, well, let's talk about Just Like That, because this is another one from the Soul Sessions. And I should mention that this horn arrangement, we actually had guys in Nashville record it, because one of my good friends, Keith Smith, lives in Nashville. And we were about to try to record it here, and then I kept having to reschedule the guys. And that was the horn section was one thing we couldn't do live with the rhythm section on this tune. And so we kept having to reschedule it. And then I just thought, oh, and I was talking to my friend Keith, and he said, yeah, we've got a horn session today out here in Nashville. And I said, oh, you guys have any extra time? So I sent them the charts, and they killed it. They sounded great. And so
Yeah,
that's
they're the
on
ones.
here.
They're on Paradox as well, which was the
Right,
second
right.
song. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I like this tune a lot, Just Like That. I think it reminds me of there's some groups that were out like in the late 70s, early 80s, sort of jazz fusion pop groups like Terrence, you remember Seawind and
Oh, yeah.
some of those bands like that. Yeah. And so it kind of reminds me of some of that style of music. But
See that old man reference Tony was
Yeah,
making?
yeah, right.
It was a slight dig at my age.
You remember the origin of the sea and the
Yes,
wind,
I do.
and the
That's
wind.
right.
All right, so let's get into this. This is the making of the tune, Just Like That, and then we'll get to the live performance.
You walked in with that smile, that smile, that smile.
Just Like That was actually the very first song that I wrote a couple of years ago. I had just begun writing for fun, and that was such a new concept for me. I didn't have a specific project in mind at the time. I just had an idea and kind of ran with it.
All tongue-tied, I lost my thoughts inside your eyes, your eyes, your eyes. Oh, just like that.
It's basically based on the idea that you know these certain songs. You've got favorite songs in your playlist, maybe even in your history, like songs from high school that bring you back, immediately conjure these very vivid memories. And then you meet, and sometimes they're...
You walked in with that smile, that smile, that smile.
Just Like That was actually the very first song that I wrote a couple of years ago. I had just begun writing for fun, and that was such a new concept for me. I didn't have a specific project in mind at the time. I just had an idea and kind of ran with it.
All tongue-tied, I lost my thoughts inside your eyes, your eyes, your eyes. Oh, just like that.
It's basically based on the idea that you know these certain songs. You've got favorite songs in your playlist, maybe even in your history, like songs from high school that bring you back, immediately conjure these very vivid memories. And then you meet, and sometimes they're about a particular person, they're about a particular experience, something specific. But then you meet this new person, and you have a new crush on someone. And is it not true that all of a sudden, all of the songs are about this new person? all of a sudden you start listening to the radio and a song comes on and you just think, oh yeah, this is about so-and-so, when maybe for the last decade it's been about something else entirely. And I kind of love that idea that each new relationship kind of brings with it this new sense of familiarity but newness.
Christmas time feels like sun by sunshine, makes me wonder what.
There's a line in the song that says, I can't stop humming these tunes. Some of them are familiar, all of them are new in light of you. As a person who is, let's say, no longer in high school, it's nice to know that that new things can kind of still be on the horizon.
Sensation, you know the one you get. Oh, our fingers barely brushed, we hadn't even kissed yet. All of a sudden, all the songs were about. You walked in with that smile, that smile, that smile. Made me wanna say, do you wanna stay for a while, a while, a while? But instead, all I said was, hi. All tongue-tied, I lost my thoughts inside your eyes, your eyes, your eyes. Oh, just like that, all of a sudden, all of the songs were about you. Just like that, all of a sudden, all of the songs were about you. Now I can't stop singing those melodies, humming those tunes. Some of them familiar, all of them new, in light of you. Oh, just like that, all of a sudden, all of the songs were about you. Just like that.